Hello guys, welcome back to Tech to Buzz. Today we are going to discuss about the MSI B460M Pro VDH Wi-Fi motherboard. Now this is a MATX kind of a motherboard which I have purchased for my 10th generation i5 CPU. Now remember, this motherboard only supports the 10th generation of Intel CPUs. It does not support the 9th generation nor the 8th generation, and nor is it going to support the future 11th generation of Intel CPUs. So if you want future support, then you should be buying a Z490 board. So this board is just a basic budget board, and it is ideal if you are using a 10th generation CPU. You can use it with the locked CPUs. Ideally I use it with the i5, so you can use it with i3, i5 or even a locked i7. So you should not be doing any kind of overclocking, even though it can be done, but it is not advised to do in this board. Now why I purchased this board basically is because this was the only board at rupees 10,300 which is available, which had support for addressable ARGBs, and I had addressable ARGB fans which I wanted to sync with my motherboard. So if you're buying an Intel build, so this is the only board I think which I came across. There might be more, but I came across this and I was not able to find any other boards at this price point. If you don't have addressable ARGBs, then you can go for a cheaper B460 motherboard like the one available by Gigabyte. So that also is an ideal board, but it didn't have support for addressable RGBs. Hence I went for this board. Now the main highlight feature of this is it is basically built for business customers. So it has inbuilt Wi-Fi and inbuilt Bluetooth 4.2. So this is the main feature of this board. Secondly, even though MSI is not advertised, it is a board which is supporting addressable RGB headers. So remember, this board is a good board because it has almost all the features you would want in a board. So it is a highly well featured board. It has almost all the ports also available, so you won't fall short of ports. The only shortfall what I came across in this board is absence of NVMe SSD. So that was the only shortfall, but for me it didn't matter much because I don't have an NVMe SSD. So to tell you the features, basically I'll tell you, first thing is it has 4 RAM modules. Okay, so remember, you need to put your RAM in slots 2 and slot 4. So roses are red, violets are blue. Remember to put your RAM in slots 4 and 2. So that's the saying, always put your RAM in slots 2 and 4. And this motherboard totally has 4 RAM slots where you can place a maximum memory of 128 GB of RAM. Okay, so this is the maximum RAM support which is there, and it has dual channel memory is activated. And remember one more thing, see, I'll tell you, I have a Trident Trident Z RAM which is 3200 megahertz. Now I placed, after using the Trident RAM along with this motherboard, what happens is the 3200 megahertz which is the stable of the RAM, stable megahertz, it will be underclocked. So it's going to run at 2666 megahertz. So it is like, because of the limitation by this board and by the Intel CPUs, but it won't matter because I wanted a little future proofing in my RAM. So I wanted RGBs. So come on, I went for the RGB variant of Trident Z. You can save money and go for 2666 megahertz there if you want to do that, but it does also support higher variants of RAM. The only thing is it's going to underclock the RAM a bit. So that is one thing that's there, you should know about that. I just wanted to tell people who are confused whether they should buy higher megahertz RAM or not. So they can clearly go for buying higher megahertz. It's just going to underclock it, so you won't be at a loss as such. So it's okay, it's better to buy higher variants to be a little bit future proof. So Intel should actually allow RAM overclocking. AMD is allowing it, so I don't know why Intel is not yet enabled it. They should do it. Let's see, hopefully in the 11th or 12th generations of Intel CPUs they might be supporting RAM overclocking. So let's see what happens. Now coming to the PCIe slots, so this has a total of 3 PCIe slots. It has one PCIe 16 slot where you can put your graphic card, and it has other 2 PCIe 1X slots. So there you can add your additional capture card or anything which supports the 1x slot. You can add there your sound card or whatever. So that's there. Now also coming to the SATA ports. Now this motherboard now has total 4 SATA ports, and it has support for 2 NVMe. Sorry, it has support for 2 M.2 SATA SSDs. So basically you can connect 4 SATA SSDs through the ports, or you can directly attach M.2 SATA SSD on the board. So remember that's there. And whenever you are attaching M.2 SSD, remember the port 1 is going to get disabled. So the moment you attach M.2, port 1 of the motherboard is going to automatically get disabled. So you're supposed to attach your other SATA SSDs to port 2, 3 and 4 instead of attaching it to 1, because if you attached it to 1, it is not going to get enabled. So remember that. And it has support for RAID is available. It has support for gigabit LAN also is there. High speed gigabit LAN availability is there. And also the main highlighting feature, as it has been mentioned again and again, is the support for Bluetooth 4.2 and Intel Wireless AC 3168 protocol. So this is there. So it supports, out of the box it does support Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. You don't need to buy any kind of dongle, and you save a couple of amount of money there also. Total it has support for it has approximately 4 USB Gen 1 ports, that is it has 3.2 USB 3.2, 4 ports are available, and 2 USB 2.0 ports are available. So total 6 ports are there, so out of which 4 are USB 3.2 ports. Okay, so that is there. Then it has support for serial port. I don't know who uses that nowadays, but yes, that's there. Serial port support is there. And audio, it has 3 audio connectors behind, wherein you can connect your mic, your speakers can be connected. Now the best part of this, if you are using this as a business machine, if you're planning to keep it in your office and all, it is very versatile, because basically it has almost all kinds of ports. It has a DVI port behind, it has a VGA port, and it has an HDMI. So you can connect all your monitors, your old kind of monitors which has those VGA ports, and your projectors also. Some of the projectors have those VGA ports, the old ones. So that is a good feature. Basically you can use this with almost all the hardware things, because that's why this board is more, it's not a gaming board as such, it is based towards the business users. Then natively this board supports Intel, it supports Windows 10 only. Even though I tried Windows 7 to install, I was not able to successfully install Windows 7, because maybe there is some setting in the BIOS which you have to enable to install other operating systems. But yeah, that's there. I'm using Windows 10 right now, and it's running pretty flawlessly. You remember that this board is supporting the addressable RGBs, and that feature is going to be available in the Dragon Center software. So you need to download the Dragon Center software. Once you download the Dragon Center software, it is very easy. You can download all the drivers from there. You can also sync all the RGBs. It is a very comprehensive software by MSI, and I think everyone should take inspiration from this software. Everything is at one place. Even Gigabyte doesn't have such awesome software which MSI has made. And the second good feature about this board is the easy debug feature. So the easy debug feature has 4 LEDs. It shows you the fault, if there is any fault in any of your components attached to the board. Maybe if the fault is at the RAM, then the white light is going on at the RAM. So that means you have to just remove the RAM or change the RAM. So it helps you in troubleshooting. So this is a very good feature by MSI, and I'm hoping to see this feature in other budget motherboards too. Let's see what happens, and let's see how other boards come in the future. But as of for now, I think this feature is available in MSI only. I'm not sure whether it's available in Gigabyte, but it's definitely not available in the cheaper variants of the Gigabyte boards. So that is a good feature, and the best thing is the price point of this board is it's not very expensive. 10,000 rupees is a very comfortable price point for anyone who's buying a i5 processor. This would be a very ideal board. They should not stretch their budget more if your processor is a locked one especially. So I think I've almost told you about all the features of this board, and if I have to tell you the bad things about this board, then my first thing what I would want to tell you is the downside would be the absence of NVMe SSD support. So that is one thing which is there. It's available at 9,000 rupees in the Gigabyte board where they are supporting NVMe SSDs, but that feature is unfortunately not available on this board, so that's there. Let's see in the future if MSI plans to make boards which do support M.2 SSDs and NVMe SSDs both, so you have an option. So that would be the ideal board where it has support for M.2 SATA SSD and NVMe both available on the same board. So if you have any doubts regarding this board, please ask in the comment section. I'll try to give you a satisfactory answer. If you like this video, please push that like button, and please do subscribe to the channel, and we are going to be posting more interesting videos about PC related hardware and electronics. So stay tuned for more videos. Thank you, goodbye, take care.